It seems that Dead by Daylight is slowly beginning to really expand just beyond being a 4v1 asymmetrical multiplayer game and it becoming something so much more. Apparently, if you just cannot get enough of the franchise or just want to break from the multiplayer aspect of the game, well, have no fear, because there's just so much more to Dead by Daylight coming our way, and that should please all fans of the series. Whether you're interested in seeing Dead by Daylight on the big screen, after all, it does have a movie in the works from Blumhouse Studios, or you just want to have a family game night, but instead of playing boring stuff like Monopoly, you could just plot to murder those annoying aunts and uncles by playing Dead by Daylight, the board game. Or maybe you want to ignore your family or friends altogether and just have some alone time. Well, don't worry, because this franchise is getting you covered there as well, because apparently a Dead by Daylight single player experience is in the works. However, before we take a deep dive into this solo nightmare, I want to take a brief moment and welcome anyone new to the channel. If you are new, please consider subscribing, and if you do happen to enjoy the video, let me know by dropping a like. But anyways guys, we got a lot to get into, so without further ado, let's get into it. So yes, a single player game set in the Dead by Daylight universe is in the works, with Supermassive Games developing it. Now these guys do have tons of experience working on different horror titles, so they should be a great fit for this franchise. After all, these are the guys behind popular titles like Until Dawn, The Quarry, and the Dark Pictures series. Now after listing the games they've worked on, we pretty much already know the gameplay for this upcoming single player game. Yes, it's going to be more like an interactive movie instead of a classic survival horror game, sort of like Resident Evil or Silent Hill, just based on the studio's past history. However, I want to say that could still be a fun experience, and I do want to admit, it would be extremely cool to learn more of the lore and backstory of the Dead by Daylight universe. Now, pure speculation and Supermassive's past experiences is not all we have to go on as we talk about this single player experience in the Dead by Daylight universe, as executive producer Tracy Tufte did have this to say about the upcoming game. "We have been working hard to blunt the tension, agency, and branching storytelling of a supermassive game together with Dead by Daylight's mythology to create a narrative experience filled with powerful life or death choices. Our game will be set outside the entity's realm and feature the story of a new cast of characters who players will follow for an unprecedented experience beyond the fog." So for those that don't know, the entity is the overall main antagonist in the Dead by Daylight franchise. It's said to be an ancient evil that abducts people and places them into different pockets of reality, which is basically the different maps in the 4v1 version of Dead by Daylight. Both the survivors and the killers in the game have actually been plucked out of their own realities by this entity. This is how lore-wise the game could have killers from different universes without breaking the overall lore. This is why we get such killers from different IPs like Michael Myers from Halloween or Ghostface from Scream in the Dead by Daylight game, and the overall plot remains intact. However, the single player game is supposed to take place outside of the entity's realm. So what could this game be about? Well, now I'm going to dive into a little bit of speculation. It would be really cool if this game delved more into the Black Vale and sort of gone into more of their backstory. So for those that don't know, the Black Vale is a cult-like society that has devoted itself to the entity. Furthermore, this group is not just based in one reality, but in different realities. So basically a cult in the multiverse. And they've been around for a very long time. So far, only a little bit of information has been given about this secret organization. However, with this new upcoming game, we could dive deeper into the lore that takes place outside of the realm that the entity controls, and actually get more of a glimpse of this cult-like society. In fact, there's even been rumors and theories that the organization is what gives the entity access to the real world, thus allowing it to gather the killers and survivors that we see in the Dead by Daylight 4v1 game. Now you may be thinking that sounds kind of lame. After all, do we really want to play a game where we're escaping some stupid cult? I'm sure most of us would rather see the popular slasher villains like Leatherface or Freddy Krueger. And while I do admit I have a soft spot for the slashers, the Black Vale are no pushovers when it comes to pure evil and terror. They have been known to conduct human rituals and even horrific experiments to reach their goals. Not only this, but these guys aren't just some neckbeard losers that are hanging out in some basements. They actually have real power. They've been said that they're able to manipulate organizations, government, and even world leaders. Think of them as sort of a sadistic version of the Court of Owls from the Batman comics. I think a single player game that really dives deeper into the Black Vale would make an excellent addition to the Dead by Daylight franchise. After all, every time I turn around, the lore keeps growing and growing for that universe. So it'd be good to do more of a deeper dive and start to fully understand some of these groups that the franchise has mentioned throughout its history. But I want to hear what you all think. Are you guys excited for a single player game set in the Dead by Daylight universe? And what do you think the game will actually be about? Also, let me know who's your favorite original killer in Dead by Daylight in the comments down below. As for me, I got a ton of work to do, so I'm gonna get back to the grind, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.